We are cooking today, and the first thing I've done is prep the ground beef in the oven. Yep, gonna be a long, long day. Well, it's cooking day, so we finally got collected. Wait a minute, wow, speech. It's not even 8 o'clock yet, okay? So, we have finally collected, that's what I tried to say, all the bits and pieces to make our freezer meals. So, yeah, it's just been extremely hectic. So I've just kind of been getting what I can. So what we're gonna do is shepherd's pie, because hey, it's a staple in my house. We're gonna be making some turkey pot pie cheater ones. That's why we bought the stovetop. Everything for the turkey pot pies is freezers and jars. The only thing I have to make is the actual gravy, stir it all together. We're gonna be making some carrot cakes for the freezer, some macaroni and cheese, and finally some spaghetti sauce. So we're gonna put some small pasta meals in the freezer as well. So, time to start prepping all the bits and pieces. So check it out, got a new toy. So, see this little, I don't know, can you even see it? There's a scuff mark right there. That's it. This was returned. It's never been used, and it works. It's a beautiful machine. And yeah, so we're gonna use the new one here to chop up the onions for our freezer meal. Okay, time to get the raw stuff done. Well, it's not all raw. We're gonna make meatballs and 2 meatloaves, but these are gonna go in the freezer raw. So let's mix all these up. So I've got 2 pounds of ground beef, 1 pound of pork, breadcrumbs that I had just stale bread. We have an onion, 3 cloves of garlic, a little bit of oregano this time just to be different, a little bit of thyme, ketchup, because I'm not gonna open up a brand new jar of tomato paste for these, because we just made them. And some Worcester sauce, a tiny bit of salt and pepper. That's it. Like, ridiculously easy. Oh yeah, and an egg. Forgot the egg. So I put it all in first because I have to put my gloves on, and putting them off and on when they get all messy is, oh, talk about not fun. So I decided, since I was making meatloaves and I had enough of the ingredients all together, that I'm gonna make sweet and sour meatballs again too, which we have not made in quite some time. Not sure what I'm gonna put them in yet, because I'm pretty sure I don't have enough containers, but I'll figure it out. I can put them in freezer bags, that'll work. It'll all be cold. Oh yeah, I also grabbed a bag of zucchini out of the freezer and I added it in. I should have done more than one. You can't even really tell it's in there, but that's okay. Squish. Mix, squish. All right, all mixed up. Meatloaves first. Oh, that one's got a little bit too much in it. All right, I'll put the plastic wrap on those in a minute. Let's get the meatballs all done. Fred, can I borrow your clean finger to shut this camera off? Because my hands are in gloves and all greasy. Yeah, just the button right here at the very top, see it? Has the red on it. All right, so we have meatballs are ready for the oven. The 2 meatloaves, I'm just gonna cover those with with plastic wrap. And then tin foil, and they are actually ready for the freezer. So guess what? 1 freezer meal done. Okay, so we're gonna use shells for our macaroni and cheese and our pasta. Ooh, steamy. And this guy back here, we're gonna start sauteing up onions and garlic. So that's only part of them, of course. So the onions and garlic is going to be for the turkey pot pie, the shepherd's pie, and get a little bit of oil in there actually because I forgot. Okay. All right. Macaroni and cheese next. So we're making this the exact same way we did our meals when we did the budget meals. So we're gonna saute some onions and garlic first. Cook down the flour a little bit so it doesn't have that, you know, floury taste. All right, a little bit of the stock first. Give it a bit of a stirry. There was a tiny bit of pasta stuck to the bottom of the pot. All right, there's the rest of the stock. That stock cube didn't quite dissolve, so there we go. Bust that up. All right, put the milk in all at once. Let this slowly start to warm up. And we're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, parsley, of course, because, you know, I like my parsley. And a little bit of chili powder. Time for the cream cheese. If I can get it open. There we go. Woo! Making a mess. That's nothing new. So I have a few little pieces of cheese that were in the freezer. They're just random little ones from like one of those cheese tray things. So I'm just gonna pop them into the freezer meals, use them up. Let them melt with the cream cheese. Okay, so the cream cheese and the little cubes are pretty much melted. So let's put the old cheddar in. Like seriously, if you've never made macaroni and cheese with old cheddar, trust me, you need to try it. It's got wicked good flavor for cheese. Mild and medium just don't seem to have, I don't know, they just don't seem to have that cheesy flavor that I like for macaroni and cheese. Alrighty, let's give it a taste and see if we need anything. That would be my coffee warming up. Ooh, that's good. Yes, I'm still drinking my second cup of coffee. We've been going for about an hour and a half. So it's 9 o'clock. Coffee is good. Alrighty, let's get the pasta. Okay, the whole bowl. Now, I didn't completely cook it, but I think I might have cooked it a hair too much, but that's okay. Break it down. Now, I know there's more here than what'll fit in our containers, but I kind of thought Fred would like some macaroni and cheese for lunch, so why not? All right, turn the burner off before I forget. Doesn't that look good? Oh. Alrighty, let's get them in the containers. Now I'm shooting for 3. If I get the 4, that's all right. I wouldn't mind just the 3. That way, you know, he can have his lunch. Ooh, yeah, actually the 3 may work out just perfectly. Fred's lunch, 3 freezer meals. I'm gonna put these over on the island until they get cold so we can put the lid on them and get them in the freezer. So when we do macaroni and cheese, especially in the smaller freezer meals like that, we will usually put like beans or something with them. So there's always a veggie as well. So it actually works out pretty good. And if Fred's by himself, if I happen to not be home and he just needs something quick, he can actually just pull one of those out. He doesn't even need to bake them. He can just put them in a bowl and eat the whole thing if he wants. Warm it up in the microwave. All right, I'm gonna put his lunch in the dinner. I'm gonna put his lunch in a bowl and I'm gonna drink my coffee. I think I need to sit down for a few minutes. Oops, all right. So our next meal, guys, you can almost call these cheater meals because everything is coming from the pantry. we have got chicken stock, even though we're using turkey. Jarred carrots, which we're going to use the water from. Jarred potatoes, and turkey from the freezer. So yeah, and then we're going to be putting dressing mix on top. So it's kind of like, I guess, more like Christmas in a pan. I don't know. All right, let's heat this up. We do want to thicken this up a little bit. So we're going to add a little bit of chicken stock. There we go. A little bit of garlic powder. A little bit of onion powder. Now I was going to use some of the onions and garlic that we sauteed, but decided to save that for the shepherd's pie and for the spaghetti sauce. Now we're also putting in poultry seasoning because I want it kind of like, you know, Christmas in a pan. There we go. Give this a bit of a stirry. And I think we're going to add part of the water from the green beans. Not all of it, just some of it. All right, let's get our flour mixture in there and thicken this up. Oh, I got lumps. Oh well. Not that worried about it either. All right, while that's starting to thicken up, let's put our veggies in. Green beans, carrots, and one of our larger jars of potatoes. They won't break down too much, so. I didn't quite thicken it up enough, so I added some more. Now it's now where I want it. I've got the heat turned off now. I'm gonna add the turkey. Big old chunks of turkey. There we go. All right, let me get the containers. Oops. Okay, so that's 3 of them. Now, yeah, there's a lot of room in these because we're actually going to use the stove top and we're going to be putting that on top. So yeah, there's a lot of gravy. That's the way I want it. So all right, let's get these cold and then we'll continue on. Well, it is time to start the shepherd's pie. So I just used the same pot that I actually mixed up the turkey pot pie in. Why waste a little bit of flavor, right? So we baked the hamburger. I showed you guys how we did that before. So pretty much you get raw hamburger, just spread it out on a cookie sheet. Now I put parchment paper on mine and bake it in the oven. When you want to cook a lot of ground beef, that is seriously the best way to do it. But this is going to be our shepherd's pies. And this is going to be our spaghetti sauce. Okay, so I've got a little bit of beef stock in there, a little bit of Worcester. I'm gonna put in the last of our frozen mixed veggies. And some of our frozen peas as well. There we go. So I'm gonna let this sit and cook for a bit. And then we're gonna thicken it up. I should have enough for 4 large shepherd's pie and I think 1 little one. I guess I'll find out once it's done. Wow, the hair really got bad. Alrighty, so I decided I'm not gonna make baked pasta because me might not want baked pasta. But I also have spaghetti sauce already in jars. But what I decided I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the spaghetti sauce and I'm gonna put them in freezer bags and stack them up in the freezer. So that way if I just want like a quick little lunch by myself, like if Fred's working and I have the day off, I can just grab a bag of pasta sauce instead of cracking open one of the bigger jars. So that's our next step. So I'm gonna get this stuff going. Fred still has to dig me up some potatoes. And then this afternoon, we still have to make carrot cake. We are moving on to the spaghetti sauce. So I've got a pepper that came from the garden. Yeah, my garden, just saying. So we're gonna add a red pepper to this, and we're also going to chop up some of our tomatoes from the garden and get this in the sauce. Alrighty, let's get the tomatoes in. Okay, so all the tomatoes and the peppers are in. Yay! Part done. Now we're actually going to be using pantry items for the spaghetti sauce. Because, gotta use them up, right? Don't want things hanging around and going bad. So this is a full jar of tomato sauce. There we go. And this is actually a can of spaghetti sauce. Here we go. Wrench the jars out a little bit. Okay, my poor apron. I gotta stop doing this. Okay, so let's add a little bit more oregano. Of course, we're gonna add some basil because, you know, it tastes good. And we're gonna add some black pepper. So this, because we have the tomatoes and the peppers in there, we're gonna let this simmer and then let it cool down. Now, I did make a lot because we are gonna have pasta for supper tomorrow night. So I'll just bag up what we're not gonna use, and the rest we'll have for supper. So putting spaghetti sauce in bags, it's not new for me. When I was still on my own, like way back when, and money was super tight, if I could get sauce or ground beef and the veggies on a really, really, really good price, I would make huge batches like that, and they would just be single serving bags, all stocked up like playing cards. Sorry, stacked up like playing cards in my freezer. For me, as a single person, like a long, long time ago, it worked so well. And I still do it every now and then. If I have leftover pasta sauce, I'll put it in a freezer bag, but enough for 2 of us. So might as well do it this way. We may not want, like I said, baked pasta. Let's do it the easy way. So we're at a bit of a standstill, so we're just gonna relax for a bit. Gonna let the shepherd's pie mix cook and the spaghetti sauce simmer, and then we're gonna keep on going. Woohoo! Okay, so I switched burners. The shepherd's pie is done. So I still got it on just a lower heat. Whoops, making noise. Made a cornstarch slurry for this one and not flour. Did I make enough? Let's find out. Might make a little bit more. Now, yeah, I don't make traditional shepherd's pies. Nowhere close to what you would even consider a traditional shepherd's pie. There we go. All done. Okay, so for these guys, it's the same as I do for those turkey pot pies. Just scoop it in the containers. There we go. 1. I might only be getting 3 out of this one. Guess I'll find out. Yep, only 3, but that's okay. This last little bit, I can have that for lunch. I'll just put it with some nice French bread and good food. Yay! Alrighty. These also have to get cold before we actually cook and mash the potatoes and put them on top. We have officially put on a clean apron. So my neighbor's outside cutting the grass. I got the dishwasher going. We seriously need to do a tidy. But now it's time to do the cheater topping for our turkey pot pie. The turkey dressing mix that we actually bought when we went shopping. Okay, 2 cups of water to the boil. So we need 1 cup of water for each pot, okay? I'm also gonna put some butter in it because I like it. So now it does call for, what does it call for? It does call for 2 tablespoons of non-hydrogenated, whatever, margarine. I don't use margarine, you guys know that. Butter it is. Our tomato sauce over here is still simmering away. Oh, things are getting there. Things are getting there. And it is only going on 11 o'clock. I didn't sit down for very long. I probably should have, but all that means is that Fred's gonna come in later on and get mad at me for not taking a longer break. That's okay. Wow, it's gonna take me 3 hours just to tidy the kitchen. Okay, time to dump the dressing mix. Are you ready? Heat's off. Give this a really good stir. And I'm just gonna set this aside with the lid on until it's ready to go, and we'll fluff it up and put it on our dinners. There we go. Alrighty, I'll see you when this is cold. The dressing has cooled down enough for us to finish these freezer meals. I'm making a mess. It's still a little bit warm, but that's okay. This is all I do for these. Now these ones will have a little bit more room on the top, but that's okay. I could have got away with making 3, but oh well. Not that worried about it. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping there'd be some dressing left because I kind of like stovetop. All right, 1, 2, sticky stuff. Oops. Don't lose the dressing. I was telling Fred I kind of made these kind of like so it'd be having Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner in a tray. Which is kind of like how I plan on using them. Alrighty. Now this is still a little bit warm, so we're not going to put the lids on them yet. Oops. Making a mess. Of course I'm making a mess. When do I ever cook and not make a mess? Come on. Yay. Well, no leftovers, but there's a tiny bit on the fork. Alrighty. Gonna let these finish cooling down completely. Now it's on to the sweet and sour sauce because these meatballs are just begging for some really good sweet and sour sauce. Okay, here comes the next recipe. So we're gonna make the sweet and sour sauce for the meatballs. Now this recipe actually comes from Acre Homestead. She's in Washington State. Watched her for a while now. And I've screwed around with this recipe in the past, but I'm going back to the original because it tastes good. You mix everything though in a cold pot. Trust me. So we have 1 cup of brown sugar, 1.5 cups of white vinegar. We're adding a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Now the recipe calls for a cup of ketchup. I'm just doing a really big squirt. And about 3 teaspoons or spoonfuls of flour. Now the recipe calls for sriracha, which I don't have and Freddie can't eat. So we don't put any sriracha in. But I will put in just a tiny bit of chili powder. It's probably not gonna have quite the same flavor, but it still gives you that little bit, you know, that something. And then mix it all together still while it's cold. Because you wanna, you know, mix that flour right in. Alrighty, so once you're pretty sure you got most of the lumps out, you just turn it on to about medium and let it start to cook until it gets thick. I also got the spaghetti sauce turned off, so that's slowly cooling down. We're getting there. Almost done. The shepherd's pies are still waiting for potato. I haven't even cooked those yet. Okay, so this is a little bit of the pineapple sauce that I actually had left over in the freezer. Just to get one little container out. And it's got, like I said, chunks of pineapple and stuff in it. So it's just one of the modifications of this sweet and sour that I've done. Where this was just like the brown sugar, the pineapple, the flour, the vinegar, a little bit of chili flake. But I figure why not? There's no sense in having a container with only a little bit in it in the freezer, right? See how thick that gets? Oh, it smells fabulous. So like I said, this is the original recipe minus the sriracha. And then I just added a little bit of my pineapple sweet and sour to it. Now my pineapple sweet and sour kind of uses the same bit of the base with the brown sugar and the vinegar. But I add crushed or pineapple tidbits and the pineapple juice. And no soy sauce, no ketchup. And a little bit of chili flake. So that's the only difference. Mind you, in that one, because there's no ketchup, I also put a little bit of salt. So, now with the color of this though, don't confuse it for gravy. Trust me. Been there, done that. So now this does need to cool down quite a bit more before I can put it in the bags. So we've got all of our freezer bags. We have 4 freezer bags with 8 meatballs in each. Now, putting these in containers is easier, but I just don't have enough. And to be honest, the 8 meatballs really don't fill up one of those containers. And that first time I ever did this, I actually put rice in the containers as well, and that was such a bad idea. Alrighty, I'm gonna let these cool down. And while these are cooling down, oh, wait a minute, I'm at a standstill. I have to wait now because the dishwasher's still running. We need the other pot for the mashed potatoes, and the food processor's in there, says, because we can't grate the carrots yet for the carrot cake. All right, well, I guess I'll see you in a bit. Well, guys, I think this is definitely cool enough to get into the bags. All right, let me fold down the tops of these first so we don't make a mess. So I'm going to start with a half a cup in each bag first, and then we'll just kind of divvy up the rest. Looks like about 3/4 cup in each one, it looks like, which is perfect. Ah, sticky. All right, now these do have to sit and get completely cold before I roll them up. So let's figure out a safe place to do this. Let's just lean them all up against this so they don't have a chance to fall over. The other downfall of doing this in bags is that you run the risk of them tipping. There we go. All right, so these have to get cold. And I got sticky fingers. All right, another job done, yay! It is carrot cake time. All righty, we're gonna put the dry ingredients in first. All right. So I still haven't chopped the nuts or grated the carrot yet, but I want to get the dry ingredients done and set aside. So 3 cups of flour. Now this is designed to make 2 9-inch round cakes. We're going to try and make 4 small cakes in the 2-pound containers that we have. 1, and I got to go and get the big sugar container. The big sugar container. 2. All right, I'm gonna leave this out. I gotta fill that up anyway. a teaspoon of salt, and I'm already making a mess. Oh my goodness. A tablespoon of baking soda, and a tablespoon of cinnamon. Now, if you like nutmeg and stuff in it, or cloves, go ahead and put that in too. I'm actually following one of the recipes from Simply Recipes that I really like. So I want a little bit of cloves, just a little bit of a shaky. And we're just gonna mix this together. That's all the dry stuff. Now let's get the wet stuff together. 4 large eggs. Well, that egg didn't crack very well. Tablespoon of vanilla extract. So this recipe actually calls for 1.5 cups of olive oil, but I only put in the 1/2 cup of olive oil, and the rest is actually going to be regular oil. So give or take 1/2 cup. We'll fill up this cup. There we go, 1.5 cups of oil. By the way, have I said lately how much I love these things? Just saying. So before I mix these two together, I'm gonna get the carrots cleaned up and we're gonna get those shredded. So give me a couple of minutes. Okay, woohoo. All right, so I decided to change this up a bit. So I did not use the nuts because the nuts that I have are like mixed nuts with peanuts and things in them, and I didn't want that. So what we're doing is I put raisins in. I just kind of put them in with the oil and the eggs. I added the coconut, and I also do not have sweetened coconut. I have unsweetened, which turns out is probably a good idea anyway because, you know, I don't need the sugar. Now I've drained the pineapple, so let's go get that. 1 cup of crushed pineapple, drained. All right, let's see if I can get this thing all folded together. Why does it feel like I'm missing something? I need to use a spoon. All right, and finally, 1.5 cups of shredded carrot. Now, there is one thing I do to this recipe, which is not part of the recipe. Aside from the fact that I swapped out the raisins for the nuts, is that I actually add milk to this because the actual batter is really, really thick. And I'm going to add just a little bit more. So in total, probably about, oh, I don't know, 3/4 cup. Because I find this batter super, super thick and dense. And I want more of a cake-like consistency. There we go. Woohoo! Ta-da! All right, let me tidy this up a bit, and then we'll put these in the pans. Now, there's so many different carrot cake recipes out there. This one just tastes good. I mean, I've done so many different kinds of recipes, but this one is a good freezing cake. And the only reason I know that is because I freezed this recipe as muffins. All right, let's try not to make a bigger mess than I already have today. Divvy these up into these containers. All right, now let me go get the bread pan. All right, and the last of it is gonna go into this loaf pan. Here we go. Oops. All right, now we're gonna put these on a sheet pan and get them in the oven, and then they're gonna be good to go. Ta-da! Yeah, I know these aren't freezer meals, but it's nice to have a treat in the freezer too. We are getting there. I mean, I seriously need another shower. Can you even tell I had a shower this morning? I don't even think you could tell I had a shower this morning when I got up this morning. So I constantly have my hands pushing my hair out of my way. And then of course I'm constantly washing my hands. Oh, but that's okay. Anyway, we are progressing. So what I did is the spaghetti sauce. Oh, I missed a bubble. That's okay. The spaghetti sauce is now in 4 Ziploc bags on a cookie sheet. So this is going to go in the freezer, and these will freeze hard, I should say, in the bags, nice and flat. We have enough sauce left to make dinner. The potatoes with, I think, how many cloves of garlic did I put in there? 3? 3 cloves of garlic. So those are finally cooking for the shepherd's pies. And the cake has 13 minutes left. I am not going to show you what the area and the counter above the dishwasher looks like, because once again, seriously looks like a bomb went off in my kitchen. But hey, we will have meals on the ready, which I should have done 2 months ago before harvest season hits, but hey, it happens. Okay, I forgot to turn the camera on. So, we've got the 3 cloves of garlic in here and a whole bunch of cheese. More cream cheese than I actually needed. So they're a lot more liquid than I like. To be honest, I'm really not that worried about it. This actually does make it a lot easier to spread when you put it on the shepherd's pies. So I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. I've also put some parsley in there already. And a little bit of salt. There we go. And no, they're not smooth. I actually like texture to my potatoes. Alrighty. Let me go get the shepherd's pies. There we go. Should have enough for all 3 of them. A couple of good globs, so to speak. Making a mess. 1, 2, and 3. A little bit of potato left, so we'll just kind of spread them around. As it cools down, it does actually get thicker. So the fact that there was a bunch of cream cheese in it is really not too bad. I'm all right with that. And who doesn't like cheese? I shouldn't say that. I do know people that don't like cheese. I know people that don't eat cheese, but that's a whole different story. But I have met a couple of people who honestly don't like cheese. Now our cakes are also done. Now you'll notice that they're up pretty high. I probably could have put less in there. I am squishing them down though. Yes, I am squishing the cakes, because I still have to put the lids on these 3. And then of course, yeah, I did have to taste it. Well, that is, you ready? 3 shepherd's pies, 4 turkey pot pies, 4 meatballs, 4, sorry, I don't know why I'm giggling, 4 spaghetti sauce, 2 meatloaves. So 2, 6, all right, how many is that? 3 shepherd's pies, 4 turkey pot pies is 7, 4 spaghetti sauce is 11, 4 meatballs is 15, oh my gosh, 2 meatloaves are 17. Wow. Now I know the meatballs and the spaghetti sauce, they're like half meals because you gotta cook the pasta or cook the rice and the veggies to go with the meatballs. But that's okay. And the spaghetti sauce in the bags also make for a quick little chili because I can just add a small can of kidney beans. Now, yes, I know I have meat sauce in jars, but those are more. These are smaller, a little bit more convenient. So 17 freezer meals. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. And 3 mac and cheese. Now I have to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's where the spaghetti sauce is right now. 8, 9, 10, 11 meatballs. 12, 13, 14, 15. Turkey pot pie. 15. 16, 17, 18 mac and cheese. 19 meatloaf. 20 meatloaf. Woohoo! So, fly away hair. 20 freezer meals and 3 desserts. Okay, so that worked out a lot better than I thought. Alrighty, guys. Once those shepherd's pies are cool, I'm just gonna put the lids on them, put them in the freezer. And the 3 cakes, I am gonna kind of squish them down a little further still yet. Put the lids on and put those in the freezer. But I think we've called it a day. It is now, believe it or not, only 2:15. We've been going all day. 20 freezer meals, yay! Alrighty, guys, I am gonna clean this mess up, and it's a mess. And we'll see you next time as we do our simpler life here on PEI. Once I figure out where the simpler part is. Doesn't matter. I still have fun. Bye for now.